Okay, so for your next project, you are going to be creating radial symmetry. And that is just symmetry that goes around in a circle, around an axis. So all parts of the art that you create will look the same. So the first thing you're going to do is start with a big piece of paper that looks like this, and you are going to need to make it into a square. So to do that, you will take the corner, slide it on up here, and match it to the top edge, crease it, and you'll have something that looks like this, okay? You will need some scissors, and you will need to cut off this extra little rectangle. In that extra rectangle that you cut, you can just take this piece of scrap paper and go put it on the counter, and I can use it for something else at a later time. So then you are left with a perfect square, okay? We've already creased it once in this triangular shape, so we're gonna open it, and then we're going to fold it over into a triangle going the other direction. So again, I'm gonna fold, and I'm gonna make sure the corners meet here as close as I can, and then crease that, okay? Okay, so now I have 4 sections, but we're gonna need 8. So to do that, I'm going to take my paper and fold it into a rectangle going one direction, crease it, open it back up, and then crease it again. What I like to do is use a ruler. Once I'm finished doing all of my folding, again, I should have 8 triangles. I like to take my ruler and just mark those folds so that I know where each of my triangles are. And that is totally optional, but you're gonna do that all over your paper. And this will be your version. You will be doing a big version of this. My example that I've already started, once you have your paper folded, is much smaller. So again, you see that I started making those lines to separate the 8 triangles. So what you need to brainstorm is a very simple but still interesting design. So you can see here I've chosen just some big organic shapes, a zigzag, you know, some curves, nothing crazy. And so when you start, of course, your paper will be blank. So you'll start working in one triangle, okay? So once you've drawn your pattern, you're gonna take your pencil and you're gonna go over it again. And you might need to do this 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. You want to press hard, okay? And what works best for this is if you have a super sharp pencil. So if you're working and you notice your pencil gets very dull, I would suggest that you get up and go sharpen it at the counter. So just tracing those original lines, and I'm pressing pretty hard, doing it at least 2 or 3 times, making sure my lines are super dark. Once I've done that, I'm going to want to fold my paper over and over and over again so that I can copy this image to the next triangle, because again, radial symmetry has symmetry, balance, it's identical all the way around. So in order to do that, in order to get this image in this triangle, I'm going to have to fold my paper this way, okay? So now this triangle is falling on top of this one, and I'm gonna take those scissors I had from earlier, and on this flat edge here, being very careful holding it, I am going to, holding it up here, not really where the blade is, I am going to hold down my paper and I am going to rub it pretty hard for several seconds, making sure I'm getting every part of that triangle, okay? And what this is gonna do is it's going to very lightly transfer the image over to the next triangle. So I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but very faintly, it's not very dark, you can see that design. So it's just dark enough though that I can see where my design is. So here I go, tracing those faint lines. And so now what I would need to do is go over it again, making it very dark like I did here. And then I would be flipping it this way to transfer the image to this triangle. You must go triangle by triangle. You can't do, do this entire section, then rub, 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 rub. It does not work that way. You have to do it triangle by triangle. Once you are done doing this in pencil, you can come find me. We will be painting these with watercolor. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.